Hello everybody, this is John here. Welcome to the NCGA Valent Ag Weather Outlook for September 17th, 2016. Well, I know it's always a critical time of the year. I don't think through the entire season I didn't look at it as critical one way or the other, and I guess that's just the nature of what we do here. But we're into the harvest season now in many areas, so we're looking for not too much rain as we work the fields. So last week wasn't all that good in many areas, at least some areas. And look at Iowa, parts of Missouri and surrounding states, parts of Kansas, and fairly widespread over an inch of rain. That's the area in green. But look at the areas in yellow, that's over 2.5 inches of rain. The areas in red, that's over 6 inches of rain. So pretty wet in several areas. Now there are other areas, no rain at all. Northern Illinois, very little. Parts of the upper Midwest, not much. So depending on where you're at, it was either pretty much a week where fields were getting quite wet and soggy, or other areas where there wasn't much rain at all. Now if we look at the 90-day standardized precipitation index, and this is just like sort of a calculated running total of precipitation, either above normal or below normal, and this is a gridded SPI, which means it uses radar data to calculate that. And I wanted to go back over the last 90 days, so pretty much the growing season, most of it, and look at this area of surplus precipitation. That's green and blue. With the exception of Ohio and parts of South Dakota and scattered parts of Nebraska, the rest of the primary corn belt has been above normal for this growing season. And then we get into that blue and especially the purple, some areas well above normal. So we definitely had enough rain in most areas. Now, if you're in the southeast U.S. listening to this briefing, a different story. Look at the deficits of rainfall in that area. Now, of course, soil moisture is going to correspond, and there is this concern of fields being pretty darn wet in this area of blue here. And this is just a model estimate, so it's not going to be all that precise, but it's telling me that there are pockets of very wet conditions out there. Most of the area is acceptable, trending wet, but not excessively so, but there are pockets of wet soils in the Corn Belt at this time. Now, last week, as far as temperatures go, with the exception of the Dakotas, the far western Corn Belt, Nebraska, rest of the region was a bit above normal as far as temperatures, anywhere from near normal up to about 3 or 4 degrees above normal for the week. Okay, now if we look at the jet stream this week, and then really the next maybe 10 days, the jet stream is going to be a bit above normal. Now we have a very fast west to east flow, not all that active. Jet stream's a bit further north than normal, and how can I tell that? Well, these shades of brown saying it's a bit above normal. So we're looking at widespread above normal temperatures over the next week. That's going to help soils where they're wet. You don't need more rain. It's going to help pull some of that moisture out of the soil. As far as precipitation goes, most of the Corn Belt is going to be experiencing either near or below normal precipitation this week. Look at Missouri here. It's been trending wet. That's going to dry out. Most of Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, but there's going to be a pocket here from northern Iowa, south and southeast Minnesota into especially Wisconsin that's going to have another wet week with the possibility of heavy rain. Eastern Corn Belt, some modest rain, but nothing all that significant. And I took raw model output here to look at it in a little bit more detail. And you can see here, right in this little band, pretty heavy rain, modest rain in this region right here, but everywhere else below normal precipitation. So nothing at all like last week, much less rain, but still a few pockets of heavy rain this week. Now we're getting towards the end of September. The dip in the jet stream over the west, that's something we're going to have to watch here. That could be pulling off into our region towards the end of the month, cooling temperatures down. I'll be looking at that in just a bit. But as far as the 22nd to the 27th, still looks like above normal temperatures. So the next 10 days above normal temperatures. Then as we get towards the very end of the month into early October, a little bit of a jet stream. Now I don't see any shades of blue here in this jet stream, so it's not saying the jet stream is going to dip all that much, but it is going to be enough to bring temperatures back down either normal or just a bit below normal as we get into the 11 to 15 day range. So as far as temperatures go, First 10 days above normal, and then right now models are saying perhaps temperatures getting a bit below normal as we're going between 11 and 15. Okay, now that precipitation forecast. I think I talked pretty much about this week already. Now let's look at week 2. Week 2 is not showing me anything right now all that significant one way or the other. Now, I think as we get closer, it'll probably fine-tune this a little bit, but it's not showing an exceedingly dry pattern. It's not showing an exceedingly wet pattern. It's showing pretty much equal chances one way or the other. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But right now, if you don't want more rain, I wouldn't say it's showing excessive rain. On the other hand, in the western Corn Belt, it is showing in that area green the prospects of perhaps some above normal rainfall. Okay, now let's go and look at week 3. And right now, this outlook here is calling for below normal temperatures. I talked about that, and above normal precipitation. So as that trough pulls in, there is that chance of above normal precipitation. So again, I'm not saying we're in this really dry pattern. I'm not saying we're in really a wet pattern. This week there will be some pockets of heavy rain here and there. Most areas will be pretty quiet. Any rain, it will not be nearly as widespread as we've seen last week. Above normal temperatures, I have a pretty good confidence in this. Above normal temperatures for the next 10 days, and then moderating, getting cooler as we get towards the end of September into early October, not just from a climatological standpoint, but overall cooler than normal. Now, if you ever have any questions, if you have any really important harvest questions and you need an answer, you can always email me here. I'm glad to answer your questions in more detail. I know these briefings can be somewhat general. I cover a lot of area, but if you need something specific, there's my email, very easy to remember, and just send me a quick email anytime, day or night. Not that I check it 24/7, but I will often respond in the evening or weekends too. So if I see your email, I'd be glad to help you out any way I can. Hope you all have a great week. Take care.